How do you actually make that jump? Are there points in your network that got you there? Was it your prior job that perhaps made it more accessible to you? How would I even go about it if I were in this?
Govind, I can tell you it was as alien, maybe a little less alien, because I had visited some fields and farmers during my time at Zomato and Hyperpure. But this divide between India and Bharat was as stark and strong for me as it is for anybody else, right? So I grew up in Delhi. I'd never been to a farm, right? The first time I actually probably visited a farm outside of some field trip or some, school trip was when I started working in Zomato. And so, as somebody who was very passionate about food and had started working in that space, you possibly could not avoid, understanding where your food originates from. If you don't have line of sight of that, you're not doing justice to, the opportunity at hand. And so it was very natural for me to start really going more upstream and seeing how's food grown, what are the cycles, what are the inputs, outputs. So started applying, first principles like anything else, like any techie would do in any tech-led business, just that this is also a massive industry, right? There's about, I may get the number wrong, but I think there's about 120, 130 million farming households in India, and there's about 400 to 500 million people involved in that livelihood. And so you can just imagine, we're talking about 30-40% of this country's workforce is employed in this sector. And how many successful startups have been built? How much of that ecosystem has benefited from innovation and technology? How many supply chain problems? How many financial inclusion problems? How many farm mechanization problems? Access, information discovery, making things transactional. Like you can just imagine the number of opportunities that exist. And because it's, this is an ecosystem that we don't usually walk into conveniently, and it's a little bit far flung, most of us, stay away from that. But if any entrepreneur is looking to, solve for the next 500 million people in India and elevate their livelihood and look at how you can be a part of something bigger than, food delivery or delivering something faster or better run campaigns or better marketing platforms. And truth be told, if you speak to 9 out of 10 people, everyone is motivated by doing something larger for society. I think, but how do you gain access to that? There aren't any easy ways. You kind of have to make the effort. And sometimes the best way to do it is to actually pick your car, go out there, speak to a few people, spend some time, right? Start even talking to other entrepreneurs who've made that journey. Start reading up on what are the fundamental areas, issues that these sectors are facing. And I think India and the world, but especially India and the middle income economies in this region, need a lot more innovation and entrepreneurial sort of startups coming in to solve many problems, to really elevate the livelihoods of so many people. And I think that's where the next sort of 500 or 1,000 successful startups can deliver huge impact. And what people don't realize is agriculture today is sitting at a very interesting intersection of not just food, but food, energy, and climate. Rice is a classic example of that. Rice cultivation contributes about 11% of methane emissions globally. Rice is consumed by about 3.5 to 4 billion people on the planet. 80-85% of it is cultivated by smallholding farmers. Rice consumes a third of freshwater resources. It's a $275 billion value chain that is set to double by 2050. The yields are flat to declining. Now you do the math. Can we afford to double the emissions? The answer is no. We can't, cut more forest land and make it available for rice cultivation. So how are you going to feed more people more rice? So food security, climate change, and I spoke about energy. If you look at some of the future high impact, renewable or regenerative energy solutions that are going to be built, they will have to be built using some land resources. So whether it's bio waste, whether it's looking at crops that can be used, whether it's ethanol and so on and so forth. Sustainable aviation fuel is heavily looking at agriculture as a source. These are very significant problems. So agriculture is sitting at the crossroads of these three key focus areas, these three problems to be solved. And I believe successful startups that are able to create business models and design that solve for all three will be around for the next 200-300 years, right? And that's kind of also the focus for me at Rise, that how do we solve for these large macro problems and scale up sustainable solutions for meeting food security, energy security, and the climate crisis.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. To watch the full episode with Dhruv, the founder of Zomato Hyperpure and Rize.farm, click on the video here.